What's going on, folks? Shout out to all my new subscribers for Let's Talk About It Now. Let's make sure everything is where it should be before we get started. I trust that everyone has had a fantastic afternoon and evening. Trust everyone's had a fantastic evening. Shout out to Cola B, keeping it real. Shout out to you for jumping on the stream tonight. Peace and love to you as well. I trust that everyone has had a fantastic, again, afternoon and evening. I don't know where you are in the world, but I will tell you, here in New Jersey, we're looking at snow and sleet and all kinds of stuff, man. Shout out to Gail Reed for jumping on the stream tonight. Thank you for getting on the stream tonight. For those of you that are in the stream, give me a 1 in the chat box if, in fact, the sound is good, if you can hear me clear. And if the music is overpowering me, give me a 2. I'd appreciate it. If everything is good, give me a 1. Okay. Thank you, Gail. Is that better? Give me a 1 in the chat box if everything is good now, before we get started. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you very much, Gail. Again, I hope everyone has had a fantastic afternoon and evening. I am your host. My name is Charles Chambers of Let's Talk About It Now. It's been a little while. Folks, shout out to Abdul. And I want to say shout out to all of my new subscribers for Let's Talk About It Now. It's been a while. It's been a little while since I've done a live stream as a result of just life in general happening, you know. I've had some personal situations in my family, of which I lost a few family members, and I'm pretty sure many of you can relate to that. That'll throw you off your horse a little bit, you know, and your own personal issues, you know, will throw you off your horse a little bit. But I believe that all of the conversations and talking points that Let's Talk About It has always had are necessary talking points and conversation that needs to be had. Absolutely needs to be had, irregardless of who would find themselves uncomfortable about the information that is being shared. I believe the conversation still needs to be had. And I'm not really concerned about who goes against it or even who disagrees. I accept disagreements as well. But I believe that the conversation will serve itself in the best way for those that actually listen, understand, or listen to understand, I should say. And a difference is made, you know. The subject I'm going to talk about tonight is very necessary as it relates to Black men and our ethnic image. Something that we have not taken very seriously. I mean, there was a time when we did. And we can go back probably, I don't know, 30, 40 years or more to where that ethnic image was taken seriously. We can look back on the civil rights movement and we can see that the men during that time who were in their early 20s to mid 20s, they were suit and tied, and they were about purpose that represented things that affected us as a community, as a Black community in particular. According to the circumstances and situations that we were experiencing during that time, there arose men who were unafraid, who were fearless, and who cared about their ethnic image in regards to how they represented themselves to the general public. And I think this is a subject that I want to talk about tonight, which will deal with that as it relates to how we represent ourselves today. I will tell you this. I don't know anyone who can demand respect from any ethnic group if they don't respect themselves and how they represent themselves to the public. Because in truth, we all are, male and female. I'm going to deal with the men in particular tonight, though. But we together as male and female, black men, black women in particular, we have an ethnic image that we have to protect. Because if we don't, and if we don't find it important, then we're telling the whole world to view us according to how we represent ourselves to the general public. This is what we're telling the world, that it's okay to disrespect us. It's okay to stereotype us. It's okay. And for you, for brothers, men, we're telling our women how to view us, how to look at us. Because here's the thing. Since we've all been damaged on both sides, and since we've all been influenced by a culture that has basically been hijacked by societal influences. And I'll tell you, man, our culture has been absolutely hijacked. And since we know it's been hijacked, what's been incorporated and what's been, I would say, supported is dysfunctional behavior, dysfunctional attitudes, and dysfunctional mindsets. And as a result, it's translated into how we carry ourselves in the general public. Clothing designs and everything else and the like have also fed into this stereotype that has the world viewing us in a way that does not adequately represent who we truly are. And for men, for us, brothers, we are responsible for not only look at being seen as a representation of protection. We're not only seen or expected to be a provider, and not only that, but we're also expected to be a positive representation for the young men who are coming up around us. We absolutely represent an example of what young women would aspire to even marry. I want you to follow me tonight. I'm going to take my time because this is a subject that's rarely talked about. And I want to shout out to Kevin Samuels. Rest in peace to Kevin Samuels. Kevin Samuels drove home the point and the principle of ethnic image and the importance of protecting your ethnic image. I know a lot of women had a problem with Kevin Samuels. You know, I don't like his tone. I don't like his approach. I don't like this and I don't like that. But you know, I will tell you this. When you find an individual, male or female, who's listening to understand as opposed to listening to respond, you get the message. You truly get the real message. But when you're listening to respond, then by way of listening in that manner, what happens is certain words or certain tones, whether elevated or not, tend to be the triggering point to where your ears begin to close up and you stop listening to what the real message is. And I've said in previous streams in the past, I've said, if we could ever get to the point that we can learn to listen to the message itself and not how it's said, but what was said, then we can truly get to the end of a talking point with some real, true understanding that could benefit us, you know? So with that being said, let's get right into it. Again, shout out to all of you who jumped on the stream tonight. I appreciate you. As you come into the building, I have this particular stream set up for only subscribers only, meaning only subscribers can comment. But for those of you that see the stream after it's streamed live, come into the building, hit the like button. For those of you that have not already hit the like button, hit the like button. And hit the share button. And I want you to also leave your comment as it relates to the talking points tonight that I'm going to share. Give me your feedback. Let me know if I got it wrong, or if I didn't get it right. Just let me know. And put your comments in the chat room so that I can see it. I promise you this, I will respond. And with that being said, let's get right into it. If we look at social media, and if we look at the entertainment industry where Black men are concerned, if we look at the most current event where Sean Puffy Combs is concerned, if we look at the most current events where so many of our entertainers are concerned, where their image is just destroyed, I want to say this. There was a young lady who said on the same subject, she was saying, we have a right to express ourselves. We have a right to do what we choose to do. Well, I will tell you this. Every day that you step outside your door, how you represent yourself is a walking, talking billboard that represents who you are as an individual. It doesn't change. And as a result, you and I are not an individual. We represent an entire people. So how we represent ourselves in the public reflects on an entire people. And you and I, we give permission for those outside of our ethnic group, meaning the Black community in particular. We give people permission to treat us accordingly. When you get a Cardi B and you get a Megan Thee Stallion, regardless of their talent levels, do they have talent? Absolutely. Of course they have talent. But how is that talent used? And how is that talent represented where a whole people are concerned? It's represented very bad. How is men who represent the entertainment industry representing themselves? If you pay attention to the entertainment industry, what gets attention is the most negative images that can be represented where we are concerned. Make sex the leading thing that we put into our music. It becomes the most lucrative topic that makes the artist very wealthy. How much men talk about, Black men in particular, talk about sex and violent behavior, or how they carry themselves, where their pants are below their waistline, where they're waving weapons in the video. Oh yeah, they call it props, but who's being propped up? It's not the prop in your hand, but it's your image that's being propped up. And that image is what justifies the outcomes that most of us receive in our communities, whether we're entertainers or not. The subject tonight is Black man. Protect your ethnic image, because your ethnic image is being destroyed. It's being destroyed entirely. And if we are to move on into the next century, then we have to find a way to understand, and we need to understand how important it is for us to protect our image going forward. If we look into what we're taught as it relates to history, I want you to think. Everything we're taught as it relates to history represented Black men who had a purpose and they stood on it. And not only that, but they were willing to die for it. They carried themselves in the public that demanded respect. And these young men were in their early 20s. Some of us that know about Martin Luther King or Malcolm X or whatever Black man who had a purpose and a principle that they stood on, Minister Louis Farrakhan, who was in his early 20s. Let's pay attention to that, because now I want you to bring it up to modern day time, where you can't find a young black man who's in his early 20s or mid 20s for that matter, who stands on a principle that is willing to represent his own community in such a way that demands respect. You can demand respect, or you can demand disrespect. You choose. You can demand respect, or you can demand disrespect. You choose. It looks as though we've chosen, you know? It looks as though we've chosen. There was a song that was sung during the civil rights movement, and it went a little bit like this: we shall overcome. What we didn't understand, and I don't believe Martin Luther King understood it either, that in the future we would be overcome, not that we shall overcome. It's that we would be overcome. Overcome how? By way of social media. Overcome how? By way of the narratives that are spun where we are concerned, where black men in particular are concerned, by the narratives that would infect and affect our women, black women, as it relates to how they view us. I will tell you, like I said in previous streams, the feminist movement had a serious effect on women in general and black women in particular, as it relates to how they view not just their own society, but how they view the men that share their reflection. It's a sad thing when you look at today's society and where we've so far digressed, not progressed, but digressed. Oh yeah, we got more money today than we've ever had in history. We got more homes today than we've ever had in history. Oh yeah, we have more education than we've ever had in history. We have a lot of what we didn't have in past time. But here's where we've digressed. We've digressed as it relates to knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. We've digressed because now we would rather have the latter than what I just mentioned as it relates to knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. We don't want to know anything now. Anything that goes against the narrative, we fight, irregardless of whether we're male or female. But black men have a hard task ahead, because if we're to ever change the dynamics of our community, it's going to require from us to stand on our own 10 toes and to get a board in our back to the extent that we realize that our image is being distorted in a bad way. Every time you turn on the news, what do you see? You see a black man's image being distorted in some shape, form, or fashion. Our young men now are declaring in public and in music that they are what? On demon time. Young men who are around the same age as Martin Luther King was when he stood on a principle. Around the same age that Adam Clayton Powell stood on when he stood up and took a stance against community injustice. The same age that many of our leaders that we have the now privilege of looking into history books to read about, they were the same age that our young men today are declaring that they are on demon time. Think about it. Have we overcome, or have we been overcome? You decide. I will tell you, I don't believe that if the leaders of the past knew that black men would represent themselves today in modern day time, the way we represent ourselves in the general public, I don't know that they would have been as encouraged to continue in what they were doing, depriving themselves of their wives, depriving themselves of their children, and even depriving themselves of their own physical life in a cause that was meant to make us respected in the society and respected around the world. I don't believe they would have sacrificed themselves if they knew that in 2024 now, and Happy New Year to all of you that are listening. I hope it's a new year and I hope it's a happy one. We say Happy New Year every year, but I don't see the difference in what happened the previous year. We fight everything, ever learning, never coming into the knowledge. Ever learning, but never coming into the knowledge. We fight everything. Men fight everything. Women fight everything. In our community in particular, when it comes to truth and when it comes to information, we fight everything. And then we come up with a thing called my truth. My truth has not served us. There is no such thing as a my truth. There's only the truth. And my truth is translated as a truth that can justify any kind of negative, dysfunctional behavior that we may be exemplifying or displaying in the general public. I want to do this. I feel like I have a right to do this. And as a result, it's my truth. But is it really your truth? That would be equal to say that if one man is wealthy or one woman is wealthy, their wealth represents the wealth of an entire nation of people. You know that sounds foolish. So that how can my truth, which is dysfunctional, be the truth where a whole community is concerned, where a whole nation of people is concerned? How can it both be the same thing? It can't. You know, there was a great leader many years ago. He said, there is no teaching that's going to change the condition of Black people. Why? And I think that was sad to hear, especially since we've had roughly over 50 years, 60 years or more of leaders that have come before us seeking to change our ethnic image post-slavery. Post-slavery. I will ask you a question. Brothers, are we better in how we represent ourselves today as opposed to how we represented ourselves in times past? No, we're not. While the talking points for Let's Talk About It Now, for the most part, deal with Black male and female relationships in particular, and relationships as it relates to men and women as a whole in general. But as it relates to our community, where there are no decent men, where there are no decent men, you will find no decent women. You will find none. Why? Why is that true? That's true because men possess the seed, while women possess the egg to produce the same child that we are finding in our communities right now that are dysfunctional. Men who carry themselves and who have no concern about their ethnic image. That's important. That's important. If we produce the seed, if we possess the seed, and the woman possesses the egg that produces the offspring, is it not important that they both have some kind of ethnic image that they stand behind, that they stand on, outside of the societal narratives and stereotypes that say we're going to do this or we're going to do that? Isn't it important? How can you get a good crop from a field that's already contaminated? You can't. For if I plant a seed in a field that's already contaminated. I may get a crop, but what is the quality of that harvest? If a seed is planted in a field that is already corrupt, and how pure and genuine is the seed if the seed bearer is corrupt? That's why you hear me say, where there are no decent men, there are no decent women. While many of the talking points that you ladies hear, where men are having discussions about what it is that they want from a woman, it may look and sound to you like, oh, they're just bashing women. No. But if you can take the medicine, then you'll understand that the seed that produced the results of what we see right in front of us, the responsibility falls on both sides, male and female. Our ethnic image, but black men in particular, because we are held with the responsibility of not only changing our community, but our responsibility is held with protecting our community. And from a nuclear standpoint, we're responsible for protecting and providing for our families. Why is it that so many of us as men, we complain about the woman that we have, but what is the quality of you as the man? Are you protecting your ethnic image? Again, like I've said in previous streams, we attract not what we want. None of us attract what we want. No. We want a lot of things, but we attract who we are. Understand that. Make no mistake about it. And when you believe that you don't attract what you are, then you're failing to take accountability. And that goes on both sides. If a man thinks that his situations and issues where relationships are concerned and outside where his image is being represented has nothing to do with who he is as an individual, then you are lacking accountability. The same way with you, sister. If you think your behavior and your conduct and attitude and how you carry yourself in the general public does not have a direct reflection on your outcomes as it relates to relationships and the men that you choose, you fail to take accountability. So accountability is needed and responsible for both sides. Black man, you have to protect your ethnic image because your ethnic image is being destroyed by the media. Your ethnic image is being destroyed by the press. Your ethnic image is being destroyed by rappers and the entertainment industry. Your ethnic image is being destroyed by comedians. Your ethnic image is being destroyed by yourself and how you conduct yourself and how you carry yourself, man. Oh yeah, how you carry yourself. Now I know many of us didn't come up with a father in the home. I understand, man. I understand. We were surrounded by Big Mom. We were surrounded by our grandmothers. We were surrounded by our mothers. We were surrounded by our aunties. I know, man. So naturally, you took on the characteristics of the individuals who raised you. That's why some of us are so sensitive. That's why we're so sensitive. Excuse me. That's why we're so sensitive. We're so sensitive due to our upbringing because there was no image in front of us in real time to tell us how to conduct ourselves, how to carry ourselves, how to dress, and how to look presentable and demand respect by way of how we protected our ethnic image. Who taught us that? No one. Many of us as men, the first example of authority that we ever saw, it didn't come in elementary school. No, because the elementary school is dominated by women. Where did we see our first example of authority where a male was concerned? It happened in high school, and for some of us, it happened in college. Outside of that, It happened on our jobs when we got our first job or employment. That's where we saw it first. And outside of that, we saw it from law enforcement officers, or we saw it from the parole board or probation department if we found ourselves going to the left in terms of our conduct. This is where we saw it. But where did we truly see it from a positive, functional standpoint? Many of us never saw it in the home. We never saw it. And we never tried to see it because we thought that what we saw was normal. That's why we became so desensitized to the things that took place in our communities all the time that were negative. We saw the things happening, but we became so desensitized to it. It looked as if, oh, well, this is just how it is. And, and then we got the term, it is what it is. But is it really what it is? Or is it what we allowed to happen? Black man, we have to protect our ethnic image, because today our ethnic image is and has been destroyed. We, in fact, have no doubt been overcome. It's not that we shall overcome. We have been overcome on both sides, male and female. And until we understand and take accountability for our behavior and our actions, and begin to look at what and how we are presented and being portrayed, and where the media is concerned, where videos are concerned, where movies are concerned, and take those portrayals serious as to whether they are properly representing us as a people, and more importantly, how is it representing us as men, and decide to stand up on our own 10 toes and say, you know what? I'm not going to support this kind of content anymore. Hell yeah. I'm not going to support it. I'm not going to support it at all. Because many of us were taught how to treat our women, but our women were never taught how to treat us. So as a result, our communities are fragmented. And because we don't know how to treat her, and because she don't know how to treat us, sex, sex, has become the primary go-to where relationships are concerned. And as a result, we've produced baby after baby after babies. And because we don't know and we haven't had an example, our homes have been broken up and fragmented. We did the best we could. We did what we knew. And some of us had good intent. But that good intent fell to the left side because we simply just did not know. How do we turn this thing around, man? A restaurant goes out of business if it gets no support. A product ceases to sell if there are no one available to purchase that same product. I want you to listen to me. If what we see and what we view and what we hear as it relates to how we are portrayed in the public, mind you, every commercial, every movie, every rap song, it's not relegated to the United States. Understand that your image, black man, is portrayed all around the world. It doesn't stop with the USA. Everything that you say and do in the general public, even what you do from the private sector in your own cities and towns, that misrepresents who you truly are, it goes all over the world by way of media, because media cares not to protect your ethnic image. Hollywood or Hollyweird cares not to protect your ethnic image. Nah. The press doesn't care to protect your ethnic image. Not at all. And because they don't care, here's my question to you. Do you care about your ethnic image? And if not, where are you going forward? What's your future going forward? And more importantly, what is our future as a community, as a people? What is our future going forward if we cease to care about how we portray ourselves in the general public? If we cease to care about how we are portrayed around the world, if we cease to care, then who do you think will care about how we are portrayed? Who do you think will care? It certainly won't be the press. I will tell you that. It certainly won't be the media. I'll tell you that. It certainly won't be the entertainment industry. I'll tell you that. It certainly won't be mainstream anything that will care. No, they won't care. Only those of us that open our eyes and understand, Black men in particular, that our ethnic image is important. And do you care about how you as a Black man is portrayed around the world? Do you care? Because if you don't, we are finished as a community. Black man, you represent the backbone of your community. You represent the backbone of a society that shares your and I reflection. You represent that backbone. But if the backbone is weak, how can the body stand? If the backbone is weak, how can the body stand? At the top of every backbone, there's a head. What's in your head? That's going to make you care about your ethnic image. We should be repulsed when we see our brothers walking around with their pants below their waistline. Oh yeah, we should be repulsed when we see that. But you know, the sad thing is we have sons, and we're not repulsed at our own sons with their pants below their waist side. In fact, fathers are wearing their pants below their waist side. So you got the father and the son walking outside with their pants below their waist side. And then we find it funny to see a Black man in a suit and tie or some dress shoes. A lot of young men would never wear what they call hard bottoms or a tie. Nah. Today, wearing a suit is to wear sneakers with the suit. You know? I mean, it's just going backwards. Everything is just going backwards. And the ethnic image, which should and would demand respect if we took it more seriously, has been pushed to the wayside. It's been simply pushed to the wayside completely. And this is 2024. We're into a whole entirely new year. You know, and what's the future look like? What does the future look like for us as a community? I mean, when all the smoke is cleared and when the music stops, what does our future look like as a community? When we don't have marriages in our community, we're divorced at an 85% rate. All right? 7 out of 10 will leave this planet by themselves who represent our women. 7 out of 10. And of those, again, who get married, 85% of those will end up in divorce. While other cultures don't experience the same dynamic. I mean, don't we see where we are today when our dollar only circulates for 6 hours? That's it. Our dollar circulates in our own community for 6 hours. That's it. And it's gone. We build nothing. And when we buy something, we sell it. BET, sold. Apollo, sold. I can go down the list of big corporations that Black people own that we sold. While old money that white people possess, they still continue to circulate within their own families for generations and generations and generations to come. Why? Because they don't sell anything. We sell everything, including our ethnic image. When are we going to stop selling everything? When? Including selling our own dignity, selling our own morals, and selling our own principle and purpose, to the point that now the whole world can see us as an easy target, as a soft target to manipulate and to portray into the general public the way that they want to portray us, because we give no pushback and we give no fight against being misportrayed, but yet we fight against somebody trying to tell us the truth. Black man, protect your image and protect your ethnic image, more importantly, because our ethnic image is and has been destroyed and is being destroyed, moreover, as I speak. That being said, I thank all of you for getting on the stream tonight. It's a short stream. I just wanted to touch on that subject. And I thank all of you for getting on the stream. If you have not already subscribed, hit the subscribe button so that you will be aware and made aware as I share new content each time. Hit the share button and hit the comment section. Hit the comment section and give me your feedback as to what you feel and your opinion and feelings about what I shared tonight. Where did I get it wrong? Or where did I get it right? You know, I welcome all feedback. That being said, I'm your host, Charles Chambers, again, of another episode of Let's Talk About It. Stay tuned. More to come. With that being said, have a good night, folks.